Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of the RWTA Chilled Out Series. I'm Marianne, the Executive Officer of the Refrigerated Warehouse and Transport Association. Today, I'm joined by Glen Wilson from Element Logic, one of the RWTA's newest member. Element Logic designs and manufactures warehouse storage solutions right here in Australia, specialising in pallet racking, automation and cold storage facilities. Glen, thank you so much for joining me today.
Morning, Marianne. Hope you're well.
I am, thank you. Glen, cold storage is a very different environment from ambient warehousing. Freezing temperatures, condensation, limited visibility, corrosion, energy efficiency all come into the mix, and they all present unique challenges. When you're working with a cold store, what are the biggest considerations and where do you see companies making their biggest mistakes?
I don't know if I see companies making mistakes, but there's probably an element of fear out there and trepidation when it comes to automation and whether it's right for your business. But at Element Logic, we feel that we have some very, very highly productive, highly dense solutions, such as our two-way shuttle system, our four-way shuttle system, or our auto store, which can help companies in terms of their productivity, their density of their storage, and just provide solutions right across their operation. If we look at the pallet racking storage medium side of things, we galvanize our rack, so that creates solutions within that chilled and frozen space, much better outcomes for the presentability of the rack and its survivability in that environment.
So it sounds like the quality and you make it specifically for the cold storage, because cold does react with we did mention corrosion, didn't we? So sounds like you're very experienced in the space, which is good. Look, one of the biggest challenges that our members face is that land is expensive, construction costs continue to rise, and many sites just simply can't expand their footprint. You mentioned double and four deep, I think you said.
Four-way shuttle system.
Four-way shuttle system. So how else are you helping operators increase storage density and throughput without compromising safety or operational efficiency?
Well, if you look at our auto store system, that allows operators of chilled and frozen environments to only freeze the storage medium. So if you look at a lot of warehouses, they have what we call air housing. So they're freezing the entire environment. Your workers are working in that environment, picking, etc. You're freezing a lot of air. If you look at a typically racked out storage facility, frozen or chilled, you're probably freezing about 60-70% air. With our auto store system, you're containing everything in a box, and that's the part that you temperature control. Your pickers work either in an ambient or a chilled environment, so it's a much better outcome for both the pickers, the staff members, and the operator of that business. So we're saving money, we're increasing density, we're increasing productivity, and in a number of cases, we're allowing businesses to stay in their existing premise because they feel they're bursting at the seams, and then suddenly we only need a quarter of the space that we need with something like AutoStore or our satellite systems, which are very high density as well for a pallet solution.
Interestingly, we had an RWTA function recently, and we had CBRE speaking, and their whole aim in life is to sell land, and they do a lot of work in the cold storage space. And for him to say, don't buy at the moment, don't expand, make the use of what you have, put the best quality in, get the best solution for your customers, and maximise the space within your warehouse, made a lot of sense to the people in the room. It sounds like that's part of what your remit is.
Yes, and I've had a very similar conversation with CBRE recently. We presented to their industrial team in Parramatta, and I made those comments about we can help tenants stay in existing buildings, expecting some pushback from CBRE, who, as you say, they're interested in selling land. leasing buildings, etc. And they said, no, that's exactly what we want to hear. We would rather have a consistent ongoing tenant than a building that's empty for 6 months or whatever it is. So that they're working in a much more consultative way these days with their tenants and their owners to make that happen. So they're very much keen to learn about these systems and getting understanding of it, so that they can have a very high level conversation with their tenants and owners, etc., to keep them in place.
And I think understanding what the cold, if you're renting a place or leasing a place for 10 to 30 years, obviously you're treating it as your own space, and you build it around the customer that you have. It's not I found that cold storage is not, build it and they will come. It's, you need to understand your customer and you build it around the customer prior to them moving in. So knowing that Element Logic can assist with that is a great thing.
We certainly can.
Excellent. And look, Glen, thank you for your time today. It's been great learning more about Element Logic and the role well-designed warehouse infrastructure plays in making Australia's cold chain safer, more efficient and ready for the future.
Thanks, Marianne. Looking forward to seeing you at the conference in August.
Absolutely. We'll see you there.
Thanks. Cheers.
Thanks.